All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to say Barakatah, Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham, Rakwah HaKadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to the sincere Aki. I'm pushing this truth with no due diligence and sincerity, man. So, I just did a video, on the curses and how they're affecting our people, and the fact that two-thirds of our people are, need to, and will be destroyed. And then I came across this, man. Mom goes on a gang ride out with son and murders 17-year-old teen. You see, in a spiritual, because I just seen a video that the Apostle Orion Lord did on a black woman. Man, man. You see, and again, it's not a general rule of thumb, but for the most part, I can attest to it. You see, the black woman, demonic. If you can, Akion, stay away from that black woman. And hey, honestly, I've dealt with a couple of them. There's some cool black women out there. Yes, there are some cool sisters. Whatever what phrase you wanna use. But for the most part, man, whether they're so-called West Coast, West Indies, born in Britain, whatever, a lot of these so-called black women, man, these Judite women, these Benjamite women, these Levite women, really all the women of the tribes, but namely the Southern Kingdom women, man, as the head tribes women, demonic. Look at that demon, man. Let's play this video, and I'm gonna get into some scriptures.
Throughout my time covering crime stories on YouTube, we've seen some pretty wild cases, some incidents not even a movie script could produce. And of the gang-related murders that I cover on a near enough weekly basis, when we think of families that are connected to these specific incidents, the word victim comes to mind.
And I just want to say, this is why every child needs his father in his life. Because when you leave a child in the care of the mother, wow. Wow.
Especially mothers. We have to remember that even the perpetrator's mother is the victim when murders take place, normally a faceless one. They rarely appear in the media, but just like the victim's mother, they too lose a child, and that isn't necessarily down to them. Either way, if your child is involved in a gang, this means that family members, doesn't matter who you are, could also be the target of an attack. So what about those instances then when family members who seemingly have no involvement with gangs themselves decide to take action to do exactly that? Well, this next story will show you what happens when a mother gets involved in an ongoing gang dispute with people who her son had issues with. On the 10th of February 2021, a group of teens connected to the Block 6 gang out at Catford had been looking for a rival out of the LDG.
And it's sad, man, that amongst our people, look at this comment, black hole, ironically. And that's what a lot of these so-called African Americans and these black jakes are in, man. A black hole, man. Look at the comment left by Black Hole 2 days ago. This ain't even that shocking. She was probably the tomboy road chick. For brothers in America, road chick is like, the UK equivalent of those gangster whores that you have in your hoods. Probably a tomboy gangster bitch in her time. We all know one of them. And it's the truth. Definitely has been passed around. Hella back shots. Basically dealt with a lot of guys. So basically what they're saying in the comments is she was probably dating like the top gangster in the gang. It got left with the baby, and then just because she was trying to live that thug life, she went along and actually helped her son murder a teenager, man.
gang based in Sydenham. The Block 6 group was a 17-year-old boy by the name of Levi Ernest Morrison, and for whatever reason, they'd been looking for LDG member 19-year-old Tyrese Uliasses. It isn't exactly clear from reports, but the Block 6 members on multiple occasions prior to the 10th had gone to Tyrese's mother, Nicola Layton's home address in Sydenham, looking for him. By the time the 10th of April came around, once again, the Block 6 members, including Levi, had knocked on the door armed with knives, looking for Tyrese. But on all occasions, he hadn't been there. Why, you might be asking yourself? Well, he had actually moved address. Again, it isn't exactly clear if Tyrese was aware of the times they'd been looking for him prior to the 10th, but this time he certainly did, because when the boys knocked the door this time, Nicola became what's been described as furious, so she got on the phone to Tyrese to tell him to come and deal with the issue. This was then followed by a phone call to the police, where Nicola told them if they was to come back again, she was going to, quote, batter them. After receiving this phone call from his mother, however, Tyrese gathered two of his friends and marched straight to his mum's house. Within an hour, Tyrese arrived at his mother's address with his two friends who were under the age of 18, so at this current time they can't be named. They were all armed with knives, and they were ready to kill. Once arriving at the address, they all jumped into Nicola's Suzuki 4x4, ready to hunt down the group. Whilst in the car, some of the boys claimed that Nicola was annoyed and was shouting things such as, "Those boys think they can come to my house." The boys, including Nicola's son, said their intention in going to find these Block 6 members was just to scare them off, so they didn't go back to Nicola's house. But Nicola contested all these claims, saying she didn't even know what was going on and was asked to just drive to the scene. Once arriving
What? This is so essentially this woman, this gremlin right here to the left, yeah,
at the
and her gremlin son have gone on a ride out, yeah, to attack gang members. She actively knows her son is in the gang, and she's man. I got man, man, man. Where's the father, man? Where's the father in all of this? This is what I'm talking about, and this is why ultimately 2/3 of our people just have to be destroyed, man. Because nothing productive can happen when you've got niggers around. This is Sirach, the 25th chapter, getting straight to the point. Verse 19, man. Let's start actually, Sirach 25, and I want to start from verse 16. I had rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with a wicked woman. The wickedness, hey, look at that. So, hey, his prophet saying, I'd rather dwell with a lion and a dragon. I would actually rather dwell in a lion with a wild lion and the dragon together than to keep a house with a wicked woman, man. So a wicked woman is so detrimental onto a male that in the book of Sirach it's written that he'd rather dwell with two of the mightiest wild beasts out there, a dragon and a lion, than to have to stay in the house of a wicked woman. Imagine that. The wickedness of a woman changeth her face and darkeneth her countenance like sackcloth. Yeah, we could see when those demons jump on these women, and they're the weaker vessels. So trust me, man, they get those demonic attacks. Brothers have experienced it and are going through it to this day, man. A lot of brothers have had situations where their women have taken their children to get the venomous juice. The women have taken the venomous juice themselves, even though they've been warned. Are down with all sorts of manner of fuckery. I remember one brother in the States mentioned that his woman, against his wishes, got a personal trainer, man. And shortly after getting that personal trainer, and you know what that personal training is about, man. Tight clothes and up being up close and personal with another man's woman. You know what that's all about. After getting that personal trainer, man, his wife, his woman, nearly got smoked, man. Literally, man, was held at gunpoint, man, because that was the judgment of the Lord, man. And hey, that woman is lucky that the Lord didn't have her taken out, man, because she disobeyed her husband's orders, man. Women are possession of men, man. Straight up and down. It's either the father or she's then betrothed and she's given onto a man, then it becomes her husband. It's a transfer of ownership, man. Women are not independent, they are property of men. It is the fact. Same way that men are property of the Lord. The men of Israel, well, all men are, but particularly men of Israel, man. Our duty is to serve the Lord, man. We are His property, man. The same way women when they come under the house of a man, become that man's property. It's just the facts, man. It's just the facts. But anyway, the wickedness of a woman changeth her face and darkeneth her countenance like sackcloth. Her husband shall sit among his neighbors, and when he heareth it, he shall sigh bitterly. All wickedness, yeah, all different kinds of wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her, man. Hoo, hoo, hoo. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Because when a woman, there's a saying, the worldly saying, hell have no fury like a woman scorned. Meaning that, hey, man, nothing's worse than a crazy woman when she's angry. This is the example of it right here, man. This woman went on a gang ride out with her 17-year-old. Anyway, it says, as the climbing up a sandy way is to the feet of the aged, meaning that, like trying to climb a sand dune or something to someone elderly, like you keep slipping and you keep feeling like you're falling back. So is a wife full of words to a quiet man. A man that doesn't like to talk, dealing with a woman that just don't shut up. Yeah, it's like climbing a sandy passageway, man. As the climb, it says, stumble not at the beauty of a woman and desire her not for pleasure, man. Meaning that, hey, don't fall for a woman just for her looks, man. Because a lot of men have fallen for that trap, and now they're stuck with dragons at home, man. Yeah. A woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impudence, and much reproach. Meaning, a woman, if she has to hold the reins and pretty much her husband ain't doing nothing, and she's the alpha in the relationship, she becomes very cold-hearted and angry towards her man, man. A wicked woman abateth the courage, man, meaning that a wicked woman will fuck with your head and your self-confidence, maketh a heavy countenance and a wounded heart. A woman that will not comfort her husband in distress maketh weak hands and feeble knees. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die, man. Facts. Eve, man. Liaised with the serpent, man, and enticed Adam. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, the transgression of the law, man. And that's why these women are always coming out with their bugged out philosophies. Brothers, man, I'm telling you, man, I recently got myself a woman, and I'm telling you, the kind of shit that these women come out with spontaneously, man, whenever my woman says that, babe, we need to talk, kind of shit, I just expect some bullshit, man, and I'm ready for it, man. You gotta be ready at any point in time to drop these bitches like a bad habit, man. So like you for my language, but unless she, is a sincere sister, and even those are far and few between. But unless it's someone sincere, you gotta be ready, man, because a lot of these women are wicked, man. Hella wicked. Hella wicked. It's ironic I see this. Spiritual, I see this after the apostle did his video. But anyway, of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. Give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gather broad, man. You'll end up like a Laura's Fishburne with your daughter in pornos, man. Madness. If she go not as thou wouldst have her, cut her off from thy flesh and give her a bill of divorce and let her go. So if the woman ain't right for you, man, just cut her off. Cut her off and let her do her thing, man. But guess what? But a lot of these men end up in situations where they get maintained by these whores, raised by these whores, and that's an example of this. That this woman and her son murdered a 17-year-old. I believe her son's 19. Yeah, her son was 19, and they murdered a 17-year-old. Look at this.
The scene on Sydenham Road, however, the group spotted Levi with a friend, and some of the members in the car said that Nicola actually encouraged them to get out and chase after them, to which she denied ever doing. Within 30 seconds of the car arriving at the scene, Levi was stabbed, left for dead. And then the group ran back to the car where, according to witnesses, it screeched across the road before taking off. The aftermath, which I won't play in this video, was captured on camera. People can be heard calling for emergency services and also tending to Levi. Ultimately, though, he would go on to be pronounced dead a short while later. After a murder investigation was opened, Nicola, Tyrese, and 3 teens under the age of 18 were arrested and charged in relation to the murder. After a recent trial, all but one of the under 18s were found guilty on murder charges and possession of an offensive weapon. The jury had failed to reach a verdict on the youngest defendant. He, believe it or not, was just 14 at the time when the murder took place. So as you can see, family who might not necessarily be involved with ongoing gang disputes can get caught up in them. And this means for Nicola now, she's not only just been involved in a child losing their life, she's lost her own life, a big grown woman who's a mother, and her own son will more than likely be going away for a whole life sentence. No one has been sentenced as of yet. They will be getting sentenced at a later date, and you can expect all four to be given life sentences. For now though, give the video a like for more crime related content like this, and make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't.
And this is what's going on amongst Israel, man. This is why we need the Lord back urgently, man. Because without Yahushua, we would have been a Sodom and Gomorrah. You see, Yahushua died so that the elects, man, would be able to get saved from this madness, man. That's only going to continue to get worse, man. Lamentations 4 and 2. Let me start from 1. Lamentations 4 and 1. How has the gold become dim? How has the most fine gold changed? The stones of the sanctuary are poured out in the top of every street. The precious sons of Zion, comparable to fine gold, how are they esteemed as earthen pitchers, the work of the hands of the potter? Basically, we've been degraded as a people, man. Look at the times of Solomon, the 40 years of peace, man. After all of King David's wars, everything, man. When gold was regarded as stone, when the Queen of Sheba saw servants in Solomon's temple and thought that they were Solomon himself, and now you got it to where Jake will rob you for like a cheap piece of silver, like a £40 ring. Even the sea monsters draw out the breast, they give suck to their young ones. The daughter of my people, on the flip side, however, the daughter of my people has become cruel, like the ostriches in the wilderness. The tongue of the suckling child cleaveth to the roof of his mouth for thirst. The young children ask bread, and no man breaketh it unto them. Man, the black woman, you had Tommy Sotomayor, he made a YouTube channel with millions of views, accumulating millions of views just on the black woman's inability to raise children, man. You got examples, man. You've got examples of numerous different examples, I should say, so like of black women just neglecting their duties as mothers, man, doing all sorts of wickedness, man, enabling wickedness on their children, man, leaving their children, you know, in ghetto blocks and houses while they go out to party, leaving their children unattended in cars, abandoning babies, taking their children on gangster ride outs, allowing their children to be molested by freaky boyfriends, you know, stopping their children from seeing their fathers. These women are demonic, man. They got to be stopped. Do you know how many, even with this venom juice, do you know how many black women, well, women in general, but do you know how many women of our nation, man, are going to lead their families into destruction, man, are going to lead weak men? Yeah. Do you know how many of them are going to lead weak men into destruction? Man. Anyway, I don't know what else to say, but death unto the wicked, man. Shalom.